Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yao Mean of Revolution, and the racists and the shoe shining, buck dancing bigots are big man. But before we get into that, be sure to wipe your feet. That means hit the like button, like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Let's get into the content. Let's get the update on this brother, Carmelo Anthony, and his case.
Oh my goodness. So what we are witnessing right now is the Coon Force, because the Coon Force is out in full force right now. And for those of you who may not be aware, the Coon Force is nothing more than a bunch of mediocre, subpar black individuals that go out of their way to defend white people. They've been hired by white people, and so their prime objective is to defend white people at all costs. So when you get stories like Carmelo Anthony, this is where they make their money. This is how they make their living. And regardless of what the context is of the story, their primary focus, like I said, is to defend white people. So they will belittle, they will, castigate, they will deride, they will, do anything in their power to frame the black person, whether they're a victim or not, as the bad person. They are the bad guy. And that's what we're witnessing right now.
And let me tell you something, black people, you have a serious lack of accountability culture.
Yeah, it's something wrong with the black community.
And it's a race war underneath the surface of our country, mostly projected by black people.
You are a fucking idiot.
So amid Carmelo Anthony raising, I believe right now it's almost over 200K. So kudos to him. If you haven't supported his GoFundMe, I would definitely check that out. They are now screaming and crying about, you guessed it, black people. That's what they're doing. It's a playbook as old as time. It's very much goes back to mandatory manumission, where they reward black people for snitching on possible rebellions and revolts and individuals who wanted freedom.
Wake up, nigga. This
now is a business, and it's a business that is highly promoted from the right. We see such individuals as Candace Owens, Brandon Tantrum, Rob Bushy Smith, and the rest of them. And I find it very interesting, the stuff that they're saying. First and foremost, you have Brandon Tantrum. Now, the reason why we call him Tantrum is that the veneer of his, I'm one of the good ones, happened to fall apart when Hotep Jesus, pushed some buttons. And then all of a sudden, the ignorant came out.
I'm gone, man. Crime bill. They created you the crime bill. Fakest nigga I ever seen in my life. They created the crime bill. I see you in person. They created the crime bill. They created what you said. They created. I'm done, bro. You a fake nigga. I hope everybody see that. I appreciate it. Fake, bro. I'm gonna expose you to everybody. And when I see you, nigga, we gonna be. It's gonna be on. I want you to know that. Because you call me on the phone and you saying all this, and then you get on the live stream and you playing this shit. You should be ashamed of yourself. Is that black on black crime? Is that black on black crime? You's a bitch. I called you. Everybody on your live stream know you's a bitch. And when I see you, I'm whooping your ass. Everybody got your live stream. I like it. You want to be hood, nigga? You want to be hood? You on the phone talking shit to me, and you call me and say you apologize?
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Now, that being said, he comes out and says, what's going on with black people? Why are they supporting this guy? He's going to be found guilty, yada, 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 yada.
Let me show you very clearly why I think this is a problem and why this is a racial issue.
And the issue that I find, because it's always funny when, an officer of 6 years try to give his faux understanding of the law, because most officers don't understand the law. They understand how to utilize the law to arrest you. That's the extent of their law. But when it comes down to it, his presumption of his whole display is based off of the belief that he believes that Anthony stabbed this person in the heart intentionally.
If you didn't intend to kill the guy, but you should know that stabbing somebody in the heart could cause serious damage, serious bodily injury to that person, and is clearly negligent and is dangerous to human life.
There's no data, there's no evidence, there's no facts and evidence, as I say, that leads to that conclusion, aside from black person bad, right? That's all there is. That's what they run off. We've seen this time and time again. When it comes to Breonna Taylor, he's tried to do the same thing. When it comes to George Floyd, he's tried to do the same thing. When it comes to a litany of people, okay, Trayvon Martin, the list goes on, unfortunately. This is what they do.
I miss you like a hog miss fly.
Now, I will say the only thing that I see that they may get him on is with the knife. From what I've read, it's been a pocket knife, and the pocket knife is legal under state Texas code, but in school grounds, it's illegal. So they may get him on that. But he can be found guilty of I think it's like a misdemeanor for the pocket knife and being found innocent of manslaughter and murder. Tantrum is trying to do is say that, hey, he's guilty of all of the above because he finds him guilty on murder or manslaughter. Now, this is all based off of this not being a self-defense. If they find him that he was actually defending himself, which is what a family member has said, that there's video evidence suggesting that, right? Once again, I want you to understand, he's just spitting off the top of his head from a perspective that black person bad. That's all he's doing to appease his white racist audience, the white ignorance that is his audience base. So what we have to wait for, once again, is the facts and evidence. And the facts and evidence is suggesting that this seems to be a self-defense case because it wasn't gratuitous. He wasn't, shanking the person. It was one stab wound from what I've heard. Okay, what I've read thus far, one stab wound, and it just so happened to be that the kid is no longer with us.
It has nothing to do with his skin color.
This now leads us to the next one, which is Rob Bushy Smith. The reason why we call him Rob Bushy Smith is that he was kicked out of the Republican Party due to him being a homosexual.
So the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists wanted me out of the Republican Party, and guess what? I'm out.
But at the end of the day, he has to get a check, right? He has rent due, just like everyone else. The only difference is he's prostituting his skin color as a shield for racist beliefs of the people who, I don't know, the five people who still follow him. Damn. But he goes on and talk about accountability, and he can't believe the black people, yada, yada, yada.
There is a GoFundMe that has been set up for Carmelo Anthony, who's a 17-year-old black kid that killed the 17-year-old white kid. And let me tell you something, black people, you have a serious lack of accountability culture because only a people that have zero accountability would literally take money out of their own pockets to set up a GoFundMe and to send money to a young man that killed another man.
Now, I find this hysterical, them bringing up accountability when we have January 6th. We have white people who are abusing officers, violating officers, urinating on the floor, defecating on the walls, a litany of just degenerate behavior. And there's no accountability for that. For us, all we're concerned, it wasn't an insurrection. It was nothing more than a tourist attraction. So, but once again, that's a privilege they're allowed to have. Black people always have to be held accountable. There's never a point in time in the history of this country where black people haven't been held accountable. That doesn't exist. Damn. So I find it a bit, I find it ironic that you're talking about accountability for black people. But they're upset that black people are defending black people. They're upset that black people are actually supporting black people. That's what they don't want. Because what all these, these coons do is that they want division. And that's what you have to understand. When it comes to, they not a black American, they African. All that stems from division. That is a tactic of racists. That's what it is. If you look, since we got here, that's always been a tactic to divide and conquer. That's what they were allowed, and that's what they promoted. And so if we can divide amongst ourselves, their job is done. That's easy for them. So all of these, the Coon Force does is try to divide black people. They try and bootlift for white people because those are the ones who are giving them the money. And they're in a position to give them the money. You have to forego all integrity to have such a position. And it goes back to the scripture where it says, the love of money is the root of all evil. And we see this. We then go into the Coon twins, right? And they talk about, I don't know what's wrong with black people, blah, 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 blah. It's always, they don't know what's wrong with black people. That's the funny part. It's always, I don't know what's going on with black people this, black people that. They'll never speak this way of white people.
I miss you like a hog miss fly, like a baby miss mammy titty.
And I want people to understand that this is exclusive to black people because it stems from slavery. It just is what it is. A lot of these people who want to take it, slavery happened in the past. Yeah, sure. So did the Holocaust, but you would never say that to them.
He's out of line, but he's right.
But a lot of these people from slavery, they had children. Like I say, the lineage of evil. You have this slave master mentality that these people have. So they have done the same thing that their slave masters did. They employed, the coons of the black populace to do their dirty work. And what that does is allows for racists to not be seen as racist because now they have a black face. And that's what they're doing. They're utilizing them for their black skin, nothing more and nothing less, because half of these people are extremely unintelligent, extremely low IQs, that if they were to have the same beliefs but be on the liberal side, they would call them every name in the book. But because they are utilizing their skin color for their financial gain or for their political gain and their empowerment, white people's empowerment, they're good. They're one of the good ones. They're a free thinker.
Wake up, nigga.
And they use their skin color as a shield because if you have these black people who are saying all this anti-black stuff, you now get to offload any type of guilt or any type of accusation onto them. It's like, I'm not saying it. The black person's saying it. I'm just repeating what the black person is saying. So, I just think that I agree with them. And that's the hustle. That is the business of the Republican Party. That is the business that many of these coons, that's what they live. That's how they live. It's not really the best lifestyle, but it does come with its benefits.
Beta.
Nevertheless, I find it also interesting when it comes to them being upset that black people supporting themselves. And here's the thing. I don't know why you would be so upset. If you think he's guilty, then what does it matter? What does it matter what I do with my money? If I want to support him, then I should be able to support him. But they never do this for anyone else who is not black. They never do this. Kyle Rittenhouse was a hero, even though he did everything wrong under the book, right? He disobeyed his mother. He comes from a single parent household. That never came up. He was abusive to other women, what we had on camera. He had violent tendencies, as we had on camera, talking about possibly assaulting people that he believed was shoplifting, litany of things. But he's a national hero, right? He had this with Ashley Babbitt, did everything wrong, but she's a hero, okay? She's a patriot. So you just have to understand racism can come from a black face. Anti-black racism definitely can come from a black face, and that's how they get away with it, and especially in present day. You have plausible deniability, and that's what they build their empire on top of. The only problem is when black people fight back. When black people stop playing games and we fight back and we get our head, in the game, then you lose. That's what happens. You lose. Now, when it comes to the trial, I'll be paying attention to the trial. I'll be giving updates to the trial. It very much depends on the evidence they have, the video, how it represents the jury, and how convincing their arguments are, how compelling their arguments are. That's what it boils down to. It's really all acting for the most part. It's acting, but within the confines of the law. Anyways, guys, that's a video. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure
Again, I was at a track meet, by the way, on Tuesday. This is not something you think could ever happen. How did it happen?
So it was a really bad storm in the morning, and they had a lot of delays. And me, my brother, a couple of kids were walking back from the field house of the middle school because we attended that middle school when we went to middle school, and we were saying hello to old coaches and catching up with them. And then we're walking back to our stand. We put our tent up so all the bleachers were right there. We're not wet from all the rain. We come back, we sit down, and this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life. I never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for. And I turned around and asked him who he was. He started getting really aggressive. My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more higher intensity. And the kid said some like aggressive stuff, like reckless stuff, and also try to handle the problem. And yeah.
Austin was always one to step up. He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is like, because they have personal items there.
A lot of stuff gets stolen just like that, just precautions and stuff. And our coaches always told us don't let, other schools, like.
I don't let other students under the tent. It's raining though. Y'all just got out the rain, so he can't get out the rain. See, now they changing their story. Now they had to make sure he wasn't over there stealing, right?
Mess with our stuff, just sit around our tent area. And we set that up for the girls' track every meet we had. So it's just like, he knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He was it's just a tragedy what happened.
And then what happened, Austin? After your brother stepped up, what happened then?
He stepped up over there, asked him to move, got aggressive. He grabbed the bag, and then I whipped my head around, and then all of a sudden I see him running down the bleachers, grabbing his chest. He just blood rushing out. He said, he got stabbed. He got stabbed. First, I froze for half a second. I didn't know what to do. And then I saw him about to fall. I went to go over there. I grabbed him. I see
Show support.
Yeah, I understand. Best.
And look, like I said yesterday, rest in peace to that young man. But on this channel, we hold racist Caucasian people accountable. So you telling me the day after the incident, you go on Fox News and tell one version of the story, but the day of the incident, you went on ABC and told a whole different version of the story. Make it make sense. And then you have to sit back and ask yourself, why are these people so eager to tell their side of the story? I mean, you don't see Carmelo's family on TV saying anything. Why the news not talking to them? Make it make sense. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the bullies have to be first to tell their side of the story. The bullies have to control the narrative first. And if you pay attention, ABC and Fox News was coaching this young man to tell his story because he can't lie for shit. And when has news outlets became the courtroom? Make it make sense. And then I said, wait, you had media outlets posting negative pictures of Carmelo Anthony. You even had these type of black people posting those same negative pictures. And like I always tell y'all, in our community, we have some people, our people, they don't like themselves. Our people, they don't like their people. It is what it is. But when it comes to me, I'm riding for my people 100%. But I noticed something. None of them shared this picture of the twins. And how ironic that this is the Instagram page of Austin Metcalf. Let's read it. He said, I dare one of these to show up to the track meet today. It got 667 likes. Make that make sense. Why nobody posted that? Why nobody talking about this? Why is everybody acting like these twins were angels? So now do y'all see the games that the media loves to play when it comes against our people? But this stuff ain't new. Malcolm X been telling us what was going on. Check this out. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. So again, this is why I love social media, because we can finally call out the BS and we can finally stand together. And like I told y'all earlier, we have a lot of amongst us, but don't even worry about them. They are not a threat. They love massa. And see, they love to paint these Caucasian demons in the perfect light, like they were angels, when everybody else said these twins were known for bullying people, were known for terrorizing people. So I said, wait, let me find something great that Carmelo Anthony did for his people. Check this out. And shout out to Rayon Carter. She said, my heart is shattered. I kept saying the young man looks like the Carmelo who saved Gino's life, which is.
And they're not talking about this in the news. The little boy was drowning. Carmelo saved the little boy from drowning. The news not talking about this story. We're going to talk about it and put it out there.
Her son, from the looks of the article, and it's him. And we forever going to stand with you. May 15, 2021, a day I'll never forget. Really great kid. I can't stand bullies. So I said, wait, did Carmelo Anthony save a kid's life? Check this out. And if you think I'm lying, here's the article. The water was cloudy and the pool divided into indoor and outdoor sections. Unable to find Gino, Carter asked Carmelo Anthony, 14 of Baton Rouge, to check in a blind spot. He came back from out of the water with my son in his arms, Carter said. Gino, whose lungs had collapsed, was admitted to the intensive care unit and placed on a ventilator. By the following Wednesday, he was off the vent and starting physical therapy. He recovered quickly and is now back home. Turner called Anthony the real hero for rescuing Gino. And look, I'm going to put the article back up, but I didn't know he was from Louisiana. See, it all makes sense. From Louisiana, we're not letting anyone bully us. We go stand on business, so it all makes sense. And see, they won't show you this article. They won't show you that he saved a life at 14 years old, not even thinking twice. But they don't have no problem showing you him holding up a fake gun at 16, 17 years old, him sticking up a middle finger at 17 years old. Bro, we all was 16 and 17 years old. If you go back and post some of the pictures that we took at 16 and 17 years old, all of us would be judged. Make it make sense. And in the comment section, I want y'all to let me know, do y'all notice this? Every time something racist happens towards our people, they gaslight us. Oh, this is not racism. This has nothing to do with black and white. What? See, I'm telling you, these people think we dumb. They think we slow. They think we don't see what it really is. And look, I'm going to keep it 100. I don't care how much gaslighting y'all do towards our people. When you harm our people, we go speak on it. I don't care what you say, because when it's black people, y'all don't mind talking about that. Y'all don't mind making money from black on black crime. Y'all love it. Y'all love those topics. So keep that same energy when you come to my channel, because we let nothing slide. To my people, I'm going to leave the link to the GoFundMe account in my description. This family needs our support. This family needs the best lawyers. So go donate. We got. But before I go, where the black pastors at? Marvin Sapp, he asked for $40,000. He has a church in Fort Worth, Texas. He hasn't said anything about this story. TD Jakes, he has a church in Dallas, Texas. He hasn't said anything about this story. Kirk Franklin, he's from Fort Worth, Texas. He hasn't said anything about this story. I'm tired of these fake ass pastors just getting up there for money, but with some real shit going on in our community, YouTubers have to talk about it. YouTubers have to stand on business. So forget them. Even these celebrities, these fake ass celebrities, they haven't said anything. They haven't shown any support. They haven't donated any money, any large amount of money to help the community. So forget these fake ass celebrities. Also, if you want to ask me, all of them are a part of the CIA. And if you really want to think about it, it's not just Frisco, Texas. We can go to Amarillo, Texas. And I'm going to leave y'all with a short clip after this video. But a few months ago, Felita Bailey, 25 years old, was murdered by a young Caucasian man. And the police found all the evidence. They had video footage. They had witnesses. And guess what? They still set him free. So where's the outrage for her mother? Where's the justice for her mother? Did anyone care about her mother? Tears? Nobody cares. So yeah, free Carmelo Anthony. And I'm glad you stood on business to protect yourself. I'm hurt that you have to go through this in that racist ass town, but we won't forget you. We won't stop fighting. I'm out.
Karma. I believe in it. It's very unfortunate that this other child decided to make a bad choice that's going to affect him for the rest of his life. I have compassion for every human being. This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this. I don't appreciate some of the remarks I've seen online that people say there was this fight and they don't know. They weren't there. I know the truth. So unless you were there, unless you saw it, don't spread gossip.
Just to ask you this one question, like I had mentioned, the self-defense argument made by the suspect. What's your reaction to that if that's used in court or used?
As a defense attorney, they're going to try every avenue. That's their job. The truth will come out. There were too many people that were there that saw what happened. My own son told me what happened. There was never a punch even thrown. So I don't care. There was never a phone broken. We've never had contact with this individual ever. So unless you were there, I don't appreciate all the gossip and all the mistruths that people are speaking at this moment.
Is that shocking to hear or read, or at least hear from me, say that that's what he told police after that moment?
No, what do you expect? If you're caught, the best thing you're gonna do is try to lie your way out of it. Now, I'm not saying he's a liar, but the truth and the facts, justice will prevail. Has nothing to do with me.
Oh, so this the nice Christian young man he's speaking of. But don't worry, we'll get back into that picture later on in this video. And look, I'm going to say it again, rest in peace to that young man. But on this channel, we hold racist Caucasian people accountable. And to the good Caucasian people that get it, thank you. So you have to step back and ask yourself, why is this family running to do these interviews? Why are they so in a hurry to tell their side of the story first? What happened to getting a lawyer and waiting to go to trial? But they can't wait because they have to convince the jury early because these twins started the whole incident. And I told y'all yesterday that racist Caucasian people, they love attacking our people and hiding their hands, love attacking our people and crying wolf. They do it at the jobs. They do it in sports. It's in their blood. Make it make sense. And then I said, wait, is this dude on another interview the day after his son was murdered? Man, run the tape.
Is that, you know, and I know Hunter probably, everything happened so quickly. I mean, is that what he kind of told you what happened? That, I mean, did you know Austin to have any enemies? Did Austin know this person?
No, they have no contact with this person ever before. I can tell you what happened. I know firsthand. I wasn't there, but I talked to my son.
Yeah, what is
everything, I know exactly how it all transpired. It was a multi-Frisco High School track meet. Many high schools were there. It started to rain, and they have their own little tent for memorial. And they were sitting there, and someone was behind them mouthing off, and he turned around and said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Mello." He said, "Well, you don't belong here. You don't go to memorial." He had a Centennial tracksuit on. And he said, "You need to leave. This ain't your spot." And some words were discussed. I'm not going to say on camera but he asked him to leave and basically said, "Make me." And then he wound up stabbing him in the heart and killing him. All over someone sitting in the wrong spot at a track meet. Now, I don't blame his parents. I don't blame him. But they all will suffer too. I feel for their family because now their son will probably wind up in prison and learn that he killed someone. And he devastated and took my son that I can never get back. It's unfortunate for everyone involved. And I just hope it doesn't happen to anyone else. This world, you know, there need to be changes, and it starts at home. So I don't know. I'm not judging.
He said it needs to be changes starting at home. I need y'all to remember that part because we're going to come back to that. And look, by now, y'all know me. Y'all know I love to do my research. So I found Austin's TikTok account. Now, y'all remember when they had that picture of Carmelo sticking up the middle finger, all racist Caucasians posted that picture. Even posted the picture. But ironically, no one posted this picture of Austin doing the same damn thing. Make that make sense. And not only that, you had people blaming Carmelo for doing what he did because he listened to drill music. Now, if you go to this TikTok account, Austin's TikTok account, go click on his pictures. Everything is rap music. Everything is violence. He was trying to be black, and it all started to make sense. Hear me out. And see, this what the news not go tell you. Those twins knew Carmelo already. Carmelo was a track and football star, a captain, a team captain his junior year. But most of all, he was black. While Austin was on TikTok pretending to be black, wearing bandanas, listening to trap music. And I need y'all to hear me out right quick. Those twins walked under that tent and they saw the real version of a black man. They saw the real version of a student athlete. And they on TikTok pretending to be black. But when they saw the original version, it's like a Chrysler 300 pulling on side of a Bentley. You can't fake it. He's on TikTok. Austin's on TikTok faking to be a black dude, but he runs into Carmelo Anthony under his tent. And you gotta realize this track, he's probably under that tent talking to some of the girls from their school. And you have to step back and remember, the twins don't run track. They was just there being bums and bullying people. And they was jealous. Austin and his brother were jealous of Carmelo. So that's why they stomped his phone and they tried to bully him, not knowing this will be their last time bullying anyone. And how ironic, we haven't seen any footage of the incident. This is Texas. Everywhere, it's cameras everywhere, especially in these schools where all the money is put in. They put all their monies into these high schools. Why we don't have no footage? Make it make sense. And I'm gonna say this, in my opinion, that other twins should be arrested too. The only reason why he's doing all these interviews and all this talking, because he's trying to cover his ass. But you can look at his eyes, you can see the guilt, you can see the shock, and it's eating his ass alive. I'm telling you, the game is cold. And I told y'all in the title, I blame the parents. And this dude said it starts at home. Their dad said it starts at home. Dude, you look and sound like you have anger issues. How you saying it starts at home when you are not even with their mother? Make it make sense. So in my opinion, the split in your home caused your boys, caused your twins to grow up and be bullies, caused your twins to be on TikTok pretending to be black. Make it make sense. In just 4 days, this whole family has appeared in every news outlet. That tells me everything I need to know. And look, we already know the media is against us. That's why we have to create these YouTube videos to get the truth out. And look, I know right now a lot of racist Caucasians and are upset because the tables have turned, but y'all will be okay. We as black people deal with this all the time and no one says anything. For example, your doctors murder our black women while in labor on purpose, no outrage. Your police, your prison workers murder our black men while handcuffed on purpose, no outrage. Our young people are murdered in sundown towns on purpose, and everyone moves on like it never happened, no outrage. So trust me, y'all will be okay. And like I said earlier, I don't wish death on anyone because life is so beautiful. And I hate that Carmelo and his family have to go through this because this is not easy. And this is very important. Tell your kids not to bully and put their hands on other people. Tell your kids not to smash other people's phones. Tell your kids not to let the rap music, the trap music on TikTok control your actions. So like I said, free Carmelo Anthony. And I send all my love to his family. I'm out.
Tim Black.
It's gonna be a tough segment. I gotta go to God. Thought it was cool. I don't know. Guess I gotta call it like I see it.
Welcome to NNN, where we give it to you straight, no chase. So let's get right into it. In San Francisco, Texas, Austin Metcalf was stabbed to death. His twin brother tried to save him, but he was pronounced dead on arrival at the local hospital. His father got on the news and said that, you know, this wasn't a race thing. It was a human thing.
I want to clarify something right off the start because I've already heard some rumors and gossip. This was not a race thing. And this is not a political thing. Please do not comment if you do not know what happened. Do not turn this into a racial thing. It was not. Do not politicize this. It's not. This is a human being thing.
You know, and then there's reports that, you know, they were bullying the stabber. and that's why he stabbed him. But you know, if you get bullied, you know, just knuckle up, you know.
Yeah, I got a problem with this, man. I got a real problem with it. I don't know why he's soft shoeing it, man. This is that characteristic of Eddie Griffin, man. Eddie Griffin know damn well there are lots of people that get in all types of situations, and they don't knuckle up all the time. He knows that. So I don't know why he's saying this. And also, you don't find it, Eddie didn't find it interesting at all that we got this white father with his two sons. It don't take much to find him in a bunch of camouflage doing various things. You know, to be saying it's not race related. I mean, obviously, I believe, obviously, there gonna be some things come out about his sons. Like maybe they've used the N-word a couple times. Maybe he knows his kids and he knows how he raised them. Maybe it's possible that there are some racial things going on with them. I mean, they live in Frisco, Texas. That area of Texas is predominantly white. It's only like 8% black in the entire town. So I just wonder, I'm surprised, frankly, when I saw this, when I was sent this, and then I saw it to confirm it, I'm a little disappointed. I could imagine that Eddie would take the bait like that. Someone telling me it's not racist, it's not racial. I want the black person to tell me it's not racial, okay? Because if I feel that if Austin Metcalf and his brother, if they hadn't started it, none of this happens. I don't know why Eddie can't see that, but let's keep going. Maybe he's going to explain why he feels that way.
Why is it always weapons involved with these little retarded children? You got a gun, you shoot.
Why is it always weapons with these little retarded children? I don't know. He was outnumbered, Eddie. That could be one reason, right? And he didn't start shooting. He hit him once and ran. He didn't even know that Austin didn't survive. He asked the cop, first thing he said was, "Is he okay?" Because he didn't know. He didn't sit around to know. He got out of there because he was afraid, Eddie, and he ran. And both those guys are bigger than him, by the way. So maybe that had something to do with it. God, I'm disappointed. I mean, Eddie's got a whole news station with no fact checkers, no researchers. Come on, Eddie. I'm expecting more of you, man. We both got on sunglasses.
You got a knife, you stab a motherfucker. I mean, you know, he was just talking to you.
Nah, he put his hands on him, Eddie. Oh, so Eddie didn't research shit. Oh, I get it now. Eddie doesn't even know that he told the guy to keep his hand. What are you watching? You watch Fox News, Eddie? You don't watch anywhere else to fact check? I'm not saying you got to watch MSNBC, but you got to watch more than just Fox. What are you watching? The Daily Caller? I mean, look, guys, look, this is one of the things that I was worried about black folks doing. Hey, man, I hate the Democrats, man. I'm a Democratic Party hater. I get it. But don't go so far away from them that you end up a Republican. Nah, man, don't do that shit. When I was criticizing Kamala, it didn't mean for you to go become Tim Scott. No, don't do that. No. The pivot from that shit, okay? Yeah, they put his hands on. The father said, and the brother said, Austin put his hands on Carmelo. Not the other way around. Then Carmelo says, if you hit me, you're going to be sorry. Then he grabbed him again, and that's when he hit him with the knife and ran off. Eddie Griffin, man, once again, all this money, this nice set, all that money telling jokes, spend some of it on fact checking. This is bad, brother.
So, you know, I don't get that part of it. And then, you know, and his father coming out saying, you know, that it was a human thing. Your son just died a day before, and that's all you got to say? Oh, and for all you white people out there trying to turn it into a race thing, the dad already said it wasn't no race thing. It was. You
see, Eddie doesn't know shit. They were harassing him, Eddie. Austin and Hunter were harassing Carmelo Anthony. He asked them to leave him alone. They would not. They said, you ain't got no business standing here, N-word. Move it on. This is our tent. And he said, don't put your hands on me. Something that I know you would do. You'd be like, I know you ain't going to touch me. Eddie, we already know how you would go if some good old boys told you that you had to move. You'd look at him and be like, I don't, is he talking to me? First of all, you wouldn't be alone. But if you were, I still don't think you would just be like, oh, yes, but yes, sir. Let me get out the way. We don't want to eyeball you. I'm sorry I looked at you. Shouldn't be eyeballing you. I apologize, sir. I'll just be over there if you need me to get you anything. Let me know if you need me to get you a fruit punch or an apple pie or anything to tend to your horses. Now, Eddie, those Austin Metcalf, don't let the blubbering father fool you. You know what kind of kids he raised? Raised the kind of kids that during a rainstorm wouldn't let a kid sit under their tent and felt like they could police him and move him along. And then put hands on him after being told repeatedly, don't touch me. I've heard other reports, but I can't verify them, so I'm not going to recite them. But I will tell you this, they all agreed it was raining, and the father and the son and the twin son that survived did say his brother laid hands first. And the mother said, my son, Austin, that's how he was, always the first to step up and get involved. Yeah, get involved. Be aggressive. Take charge. Put hands on people that you neither birthed, nor raised, nor owned, Eddie. Come on, man. This is horrible, man. This is horrible. It's not good, Eddie. It's not good.
It was kids being kids. Kids like bullying. Some kids can handle it, some kids can't. This kid in particular couldn't handle it, so he went for the knife. That's all it is. You're trying to turn it. Why is everything in America about some race wars? Out of here. People are people, so why can't it be? You and I should get along so awfully. I think that's a song by Depeche Mode, 1984. We'll be right back after this commercial break. And my condolences to the parents, even that father. I mean, I guess people deal with death in different ways. I don't know. If it was one of my sons, somebody got to die. I'm going to jail with a Kool-Aid smile on my face.
So let me get this right, Mr. Walkoff. Get this right. Let's make sure we understand each other. So the father who could be upset about his son it's okay for him to go do an eye for an eye, right? That's what you're saying. But is that okay for the black kid who's being jumped by two bigger white kids to take up for himself? It's kind of weird how you're looking at this. It seems a little weird to me that you would come to that conclusion that the white guy could go kill a black kid who killed his son, defending himself from his son and the twin that were together. I don't know who else was there, but we know those two were together. And rumors say they were jumping him. In Texas and many other places, where people live in America, if you put your hands on somebody, it's open season. Ain't no rules. No one knows what's going to happen. Sometimes people pull guns. Sometimes they pull knives. In Texas, almost everybody's got a gun or a knife. That's what I'm being educated on about Texas. But the problem I got with you, Eddie, is it seems like you're okay with dad killing a black man, but you have a problem with a black man, a black kid defending himself against two other white kids. Like I said, this did not have to happen. All the white kid had to do is keep his hands to himself. How hard is that to do? And for you asking why the young man felt he had a reason to have a knife, maybe because they'd had laid hands on him before. You ever thought about that, Eddie? Maybe it was to defend himself from them putting their hands on him, Eddie. I'm disappointed, but hey, Maybe he had to just let this one get away from him. You know what I'm saying? It happens. Lord knows I've made mistakes. I still rock with Eddie's comedy and just his political, social commentary skills sometimes. Maybe, maybe he needs to consult with Tim Black. I come cheap, Eddie. You know what I'm saying? I won't charge you much. Let me know what you guys think.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
I've been to so many track meets, but never have I thought somebody would literally stab another kid over sitting in the tent. There's no justification for it, but this explanation, I got to hear. You just got heated. Maybe the boy was getting the best of you. You didn't want to take the L. I don't know. And you killed a kid. Oh, I'm trying not to cry on camera just because.
I want to thank this situation for coming to light. I want to thank those people who have come out and spoken out, who've spoken up on behalf of Carmelo Anthony. We don't know where this is going to go. We don't even know if there are going to be other details that come out that contradict things, that change the reality of what's possible, right? We don't know that. And I'm open to that happening. Because at the end, all I want is justice. That's it. But I'm seeing one side of this equation not be reasonable at all. Yeah, man. You should raise your children. And if someone asks them to leave them alone, they do. And someone says, do not put your hands on me, they listen. That's kind of basic. For some reason, and I get it. Once again, guys, I get it, man. Dad is grieving. Mom is grieving. But how well was your child raised if your child don't hear so good? That when somebody says, keep your hands to yourself, you know comprende. To me, that signals we got a young man who has an arrogance with him. Not only does he think he's invincible, he doesn't think he has to listen to certain people. Now, I don't know if he doesn't listen to the cops or if he doesn't listen to authority figures, but it damn sure looks like he doesn't listen to this black young man, Pierce, because he could have, and none of this happens. None of this happens. None of this happens. But once again, I am glad that this is coming out. It's unfortunate it has to come out in this way. But it's good for us to see. Black America is good for us to see. Because we got the horrible Democratic Party doing what it does. And we got a lot of black people that are waking up to it. But I need black people to look across and see those Republicans. See those conservative Republicans that are what they're saying about you right now. Because they're saying it about Carmelo Anthony, but they don't know him. All they see is blackness. That's all they see. Of Carmelo Anthony, his name was Cody. If his name was Cody Davis, Cody Bartholomew, Cody McConaughey, and he was blonde-haired and blue-eyed, and he had told this football player to not touch him and to get his hands off of him, it wouldn't be a whole lot of talk about how evil he is and how unraised, untrained he is and how he's a menace because he struck back at a bigger guy who wouldn't keep his damn hands to himself. It'd be a whole different story, wouldn't it? But instead, we have these phony, fake jackasses on the conservative side condemning Black America. And I got sellout, bootlicking Black people with all this type of advice of what Black people need to do better. They are cowards. They're afraid to say, what white Americans need to do better, like raise their kids to keep their damn hands to themselves. You don't own everything in the country just because you're white. You don't own us. You don't own that young man. You're not the authority here. You're just another human being. There's things that can be said to them. But see, these cowardly conservatives won't say it. These black cowardly conservatives won't tell the other white conservatives the truth. But instead, they'll look at the black kid and have all this advice on what black Americans need to do. Oh, you should hear them, guys. You should hear the nonstop advice that the Charleston White Brigade is giving. Oh, they got so much to say. And so people should listen to him. A killer, a co-conspirating killer, and a jackass, and a clown playing a role on the internet. That's who we got to listen to for advice. That's what we're doing. An admitted clown pretending to be something. Is that how bad it is? We let people like Charleston White dictate to us what black people need to do, what black people, how we need to act. I wish this didn't happen because I authentically wish it hadn't happened. But I try to take everything that happens in my life and see what good can come out of it. And one of the good things that could come out of it is black Americans. Don't go running over there to those Republicans. Listen to them. Look at what's coming out of their mouths. Look at what they're saying. They can be saying that about your son, your daughter, you, your wife. Look at them. Listen to them. They know nothing about him. Listen to the way they're talking. All of a sudden, our buddies, our friendly white friends become something else, don't they? We got a bunch of liars, gaslighters, and bigots posing as if they mean well. And now that they got their guy in, they don't need you no more, black people. So go on, Blackie. That's how they going. Go on, Blackie. We got what we wanted. We got Trump in now. We don't care, Blackie. Election time's over, Blackie. We go back to being who we are. And their dumb conservative black friends that are sitting there stupid looking didn't get the memo. Now they want us who are independent, because that's what I am, an independent. They want us not to believe our lying eyes. They want us to not be able to hear so good. They're going to ignore it. You know what? I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to ignore the Daily Wire scumbags. I'm not going to ignore the Steven Crowder lying-ass, bigoted, dog whistle blowing. I'm not going to ignore that. And up to this point, all we've got is the story from the father of the slain and the mother of the slain and his twin brother. And I'm not altogether sure how reliable that is, because only one of them was there. And I think all three would lie to suit their case. And for the record, you can't talk about being such a Christian, which is what Father Metcalf has been doing, and then also be talking about the death penalty in the same token. I mean, at least not in my book. Yeah, that's what I reported on last week. I read the New York Post that Anthony was a 4.0 student, no criminal record, and working 2 jobs. But that's not the scenario, and that's not the narrative that the conservatives that I've been, hey, look, guys, let me say, thank you, Anita Parker. Let me say this. I'm never talking about everybody. Of course, there are going to be people that surprise me. It's bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's bad what I've been seeing. These people have developed complete scenarios. They know everything about Carmelo Anthony's schooling. They're imagining how he is with friends. They imagine his track listing, his shoe size, with what kind of ice cream he like. I mean, these people have created, it's like, I have not seen such imaginations about Austin Metcalf from anybody. from anyone. Not from his supporters, and not from those that support Carmelo. And what I'm doing is I am going there. I'm going there because no one else is. And what I'm saying, and I'm using based on the information. What kind of how was a young man raised where it's raining, and instead of saying, hey, it's raining, he ain't bothering anybody, why do you feel like he has to leave now and leave? And when he says, I'm not going to get off me, leave me alone, why wasn't that enough? So I'm questioning how he was raised. Is there a rule we can't talk back to the whites? Because we talk back to each other all the time. Is there a rule? So what it is, we got a lot of cowards who are unwilling to go up against the grieving father and say, hold on a second, how'd you raise your son? Because he's saying this, that's what he's saying about Carmelo Anthony's parents.
I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet, and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart.
How was he raised and he did this to my son? He murdered my son. Well, how was your
you
son?
know the craziest part? The craziest part, y'all know I'm in Texas. These people talking about, and he brought a knife. Don't believe these people. These are the same people who are trying to make laws where they can have guns anywhere. Track meet, schools, malls, churches, daycares. They fighting to have guns anywhere. So for these individuals who have hunting knives on their hips, everywhere, they just got caught slipping and playing daily games. In Texas, they want guns anywhere. For them to, so don't believe these people when they say a knife at a track meet. Bitch, this Texas. It's way worse on that track meet.
Your son raised that he couldn't hear so well. See, no one's willing to say this, but if it was black on black, we'd be saying it. And what I'm saying is some of us are timid. We're too damn timid when it comes to talking to the white folks. It's 2025. If you ain't got a pair of balls when you can't talk to that guy and say, hold on a second, you're questioning his parents, let's question you. Because his parents weren't there. You weren't there. But based on some actions, you got some explaining to do. Because if your sons, why didn't the other son grab the other son and say, come on, man, it ain't worth it. Leave him alone. See, there's all types of scenarios that are not being considered. And it takes somebody like Tim Black to say it, because it's been very quiet on the Western Front, sir. It's been very quiet on the Western Front. So let me at these cornball conservatives, the black conservative perspective, and the C.J. Pearsons, and I just name dropped a couple of them. The Officer Tatums, let me at them. The Candace Owens, let me at them. Because I want to ask those types of basic questions. See, what they're going to do is they're going to, all of black people, all of black America, look how we are. Look how the blacks are. Look how the whites are. Look at them. So we can do this all day. And then we can stop gaslighting each other and get back to the point, which is what happened between these two young men. Once we get tired of, of creating narratives about race, we can get back to the point at hand. And we can say, hold on. I'm asking you very concrete questions. To Candace Owens, to Officer Tatum, to all the rest. Why didn't the twin brother tell the other brother, hey, man, it ain't worth it, let's walk off? Why are we not even running? We're not even competing. We ain't on a track team. Why are we even over here? Why are you arguing with him about sitting there? This all these bleachers. Why are we going to fight over a seat we didn't pay for? There's no assigned seating. And I'm not hearing that, so that bothers me. It has me feeling kind of certain kind of way about the sincerity in the ethics and integrity of the people that have been doing commentary on this, who have been critical of Kamala Anthony, why they did not consider these things. Because, you know, I wasn't there, but why am I able to ask questions that I'm not hearing others ask? That's right. Ernst says, if your son was Christian, as you claim he was, he would have moved over and said, sit here, man, we got you. But no, he greeted him with violence and hate. That got him killed in bullying. And you can kind of see, I look at the eyes of the father, and I know he's grieving. And I know viscerally, fundamentally, reality, tangibly, how that feels. But I see a deep anger behind his eyes. I don't see it the same way I'm seeing others categorize it. They see it as vulnerable and emotional, but I see something else brewing behind the eyes. I see something else brewing behind the father's eyes. And I love the opportunity to talk about it. What's her name? What's the one with the channel Laura Ingram. Yeah, I see something brewing behind the father's eyes, Laura Ingram. Besides tears, behind the tears, I see an anger and an outrage behind his eyes. And I wonder if his kids possess that same anger and outrage. You know, the mother said something. The mother dropped breadcrumbs. I'm sorry to keep going, guys. I do have other content. Something the mother said about the son, the reason why the son wanted to go over and talk to Anthony, Carmelo Anthony. She said, my son was always the first to step up. To step up and do what, ma'am? You mean step up and tell the ninja to get away from us? Is that it? Because that's all he was doing, was sitting down under the tent under the rain. Yeah, my son was always, that's how he was. He was always the first to step up. Yeah, step up and get violent, right? Step up and be violent, maybe? See, this is me being deductive. Respectfully. These are the things I was thinking that I didn't say last time we did a live stream. But after days of me seeing the unchecked masses of conservatives, both white and black, omit the obvious pushback and put two and two together. I mean, come on. So I had to go there, Johnson. Now, had it been Carmelo who was stabbed to Austin who was under the tent, the same people saying Carmelo's guilty would say Carmelo shouldn't have approached Austin and he defended himself. You're damn right they would say that. And that's why I can't stand. Now you got it. Exactly, to Tashi D. Because I know damn well the black conservatives, the ones that are calling Carmelo Anthony all these names and saying how black culture needs to take a look at itself and we never hold ourselves accountable. I know damn well if it had been reversed, that they would be saying that they would exactly be defending. They would be defending Austin and saying, why did this person put their hands on Austin? Maybe he felt afraid. See, we start getting into very obvious terrain here, guys. It's very obvious terrain. We know what this is. They get to be afraid of us and act erratically and take our lives. The history of America is white people who always say they're afraid of black people and killing them. You know, it used to happen so much, even when black people were enslaved. They had to come up with a new law on the books for white women because white women accidentally kept killing their slaves. Accidentally. While they were correcting them. And now that we're free, some people didn't get the memo. So I'm worried about Carmelo Anthony's safety. That's what I'm worried about. And what's going on with him right now around some good old boys. I'm not hearing anyone talk about it. So I want to talk about it. Back to Tashi's comment. If it would have been the other way around, And the black kid was killed after the white kid asked him numerous times not to touch him, to keep his hands off of him. And if that white kid stabbed that black kid and ran one time, not 20 times, not 50 times and threw up gang signs, but stabbed him one time and ran, all the black conservatives that would be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have, why did he attack him? Why did he attack him? He shouldn't have attacked him. He scared him. And I know what it's like to be afraid. I'm afraid when I'm around black people too. I'm so afraid around black people. This is what they're saying. Black people are saying, I'm afraid around black people. No, you're afraid around poor people, dummy. If you ain't afraid around poor white people, that's because you don't be around any of them. You just only been around poor black people. If you ever been around poor white people, you'll be just afraid or you're stupid. They'll bury you out behind the barn, dummy. But see, we got black people who never been anywhere. I know white people that won't go certain places in white areas because they're scared to go there their damn selves. And we got dumb black people who never been anywhere. I'm talking about the Cartier family, for instance. And it's okay to be young and dumb. It's just unfortunate you have a mic and a platform. And you're talking to people who also don't know anything or they wouldn't be co-signing what you're saying. I know white men who have their own businesses, so they have to deliver things. And there are areas where they don't like going that's white because they're the type of white guys that talk like me. Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? And where they're going is white guys that talk like, oh, what's going on? Hey, what the hell you doing around here? See, not all white people are the same, Goofy. But see, we have a problem. We have a problem. We got black people that get their idea of what white people are off television. It's Captain Avenger. You know what I'm saying? They see them all as Doogie Howser. And whenever there is an asshole white person, it's like Eddie Pascal from Leave It to Beaver. You know, annoying but not a bad guy. Just annoying, kind of snarky. They don't realize that there are all kinds of white people. White people know there's all kinds of white people. I'm not here to condemn all of white America or all of black America. But what I'm seeing is a petri dish. A petri dish of a lot of animosity, hate, bias. It's just bad information. Yeah. The media uses cases like this to race bait into incite anger and hate. And it's really good for money. And it's not just, look, here's the thing, B1 first. Look, it's not just because they hit everybody. It is a very, it could be. But it's also so lucrative. It's so lucrative. It's like the Lakers playing the Celtics every day. You know? It's like the Lakers versus Celtics every day. And they just can keep it going. It's like the release of a new Avengers movie. A Marvel Universe movie that can come out every month in a for-profit industry, which is our news industry. All right, I'm tripping. I'm going. It is what it is. Let me try to move on, right? Thank you, Black Mamba. You know the deal. Independent black media stays.
Tonight on the Black Channel, story out of Frisco, Texas here, and you all know me. I am not a knee-jerk type of person, so I don't just jump up and say things. And I don't just come flying in to defend things out of nowhere, so I like to get some information. So while I am not going to give a blanket defense of anything because we don't have all the facts or all the information just yet, there are certain facts and information that we do have. What we do have here is that at Centennial High School, apparently there was a track meet that involved a bunch of high schools in the area. And in particular, there was a student, Karmelo Anthony, 17 years old, goes to Centennial High, and got into an altercation with a couple of twins, Justin Metcalf and his brother. And they were at this track meet, and they're from different schools. Frisco, I think, is Centennial. They're from different schools. Okay, fine. An altercation occurs where a parent.
Revolutionary salute to our brother Andre Tony for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is a way of life. Appreciate the love, family. Salute.
Apparently, the teenagers, the two twins, had made some intimidating, threatening comments toward Carmelo, pictured on the left. And somewhere along the line, he allegedly pulled a knife and stabbed the Justin Metcalf over there on the right in the chest, who apparently pierced his heart, and he died on the scene. All very unfortunate, all very tragic, all very unfortunate. It certainly is. Of course, you know, nobody thinks they're going to send their children to school and that they're going to die. No one thinks that kind of thing is going to occur. So, of course, you ought to be able to sit here and take a look at just the events and just the facts and judge it that way, but that is not what is occurring. Interestingly enough, with all the things going on around America right now of such incredible importance, what we've noticed is that the white supremacist media, white supremacist YouTubers like The Quartering, Matt Walsh and others, Megyn Kelly, the white supremacists have seized on this particular incident. And when you see so many of them swarming on a specific incident that is otherwise not especially notable, that tells you that they see this as propaganda, that they feel that there's something about this that puts white supremacy under attack. So your ears go up and you start looking at it a little bit closer when some of the usual white supremacist suspects start jumping up and doing what they do. Now, I can play many things here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Megyn Kelly here. We're going to go to Megyn Kelly, who, like I say, if ever there was an old wrinkled crone of a white supremacist female witch, she is it. Aged out, drug out, tossed out, and of course, no black children shall ever not be attacked by this vicious media sociopath. And by the way, not having any facts now, she jumps in and starts commenting with no information, except she got all the information that she needed, which she really exposed herself. The white supremacists didn't have any information. So how is it that they're going ahead and making all these accusations with it when the police haven't released all the information? Hell, they haven't released what they should have released. So why is it they're all speaking out so quickly? Well, there's only one fact that they do know. And that's the fact that she's going to speak about here when she starts talking.
The victim who died was 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. He was a student attending Frisco's Memorial High School. His twin brother, Hunter, was there as well. He went to sit down and found another student in his seat from the sound of it and said, "That's my seat," or something to that effect. And that other student reportedly turned around and stabbed him in the heart.
Now, this is absolutely not what happened. She is not just leaving things out, but she is changing up exactly what occurred. So she is, of course, a vicious liar because she wants to go ahead and get the lie out there first, and then you have to go research the truth. And just like with Daniel Penny, they'll just keep repeating the lie again. Like Donald Trump, they'll just keep saying it because, remember, white supremacy can't stand on its own. As soon as you see it, everyone rejects it. So, of course, she immediately resorts to an outrageous lie and just says, he said, hey, can you get out of my seat? And he just gets stabbed. You just notice. So, in other words, what she's saying is the crazy nigga accusation. 17-year-old, 3.7 GPA, black honor roll student. And, hey, can you get out of my... Hey, sir, I am just a good Christian Mormon missionary from the love of Jesus Christ. Might I have my seat? Ah! According to her, that's what occurred. So, of course, obviously, what makes them despicable scum is things like this. If you're going to talk about the event, then just relay what happened of the event. Oh, if you relay what happened of the event, you can't turn this into a white supremacist propaganda. So she's using the dead body of this teenager to promote white supremacy. Despicable, shameless, reprehensible.
This kid who got killed was 17. He had a 4.0. He was a football star. Sorry. And
the kid that he attacked got pretty much the same GPA. Does she mention that? All hands up. You think she was going to mention that or not? And also, this was a track meet. Let me remind you one more time. This was a track meet. As you can see, well, you can't see here. These trophies he has here are for football. So Justin over here on the right, well, he's a football player, not a track runner. He's a football player. And yet he was at this track event. So once again, notice Megan is not pointing any of this out to put it in its proper context. Hey, this football player and his football brother were at a track event. The Anthony over there on the left, he's the one who runs track. So these two football players ran up on a track runner at a track meet. And Megyn Kelly isn't saying any of this to you. Of course she's a white supremacist scum. Of course she is. We've told you this for years. Of course she is. When Roland Martin was trying to defend her. Of course she is. We have remained completely consistent about this. And the longer she goes, the more consistent she is.
he was dead, it seems, very soon thereafter. His twin brother held him as he died and was barely able to speak about it. And the father, who seems like an extraordinary man, Michael, comes out and speaks to the cameras about what happened to his son. Here's a bit of Austin's dad. Take a listen.
Seems like an extraordinary.
This happened Wednesday.
What is it?
They have a suspect in custody, identified by police as Karmelo Anthony, a 17-year-old student at Frisco Centennial High School. He was taken into custody on a murder charge. His bond has not yet been set.
She didn't say anything about his GPA. She didn't say anything about his academic achievement. She didn't say anything about the fact that he was in line for scholarships. She didn't say any of that. She skipped right over it. Do you realize what a monstrous subhuman animal you have to be a white supremacist, to be Megyn Kelly? You have to understand that. There's very little daylight between the Adolf Hitlers and the Megyn Kellys. They are flagrant animalistic beasts. They attack children. They target children. This is what they do. This is what they've always done. They are beyond humanity. They are beyond civilized behavior. They are beyond anything that we would even remotely describe as human. And by beyond it, I mean beneath it. These are the subhuman animalistic scum that walk among us, which is why white supremacy has been, and will always be the greatest threat to mankind, much less civilized man. And this is why they'll pay them millions of dollars to make sure that white supremacy is well funded.
This guy, Anthony, played football for the school Centennial and indicated on social media pages that he had been offered scholarships to play football for several smaller schools. This is just incredible. So he had some sort of hope in front of him, the suspect, Karmelo Anthony, that he played football. And then on social media, at least, he was claiming that he'd been offered scholarships to play football for several smaller schools. And now this other kid who appears to be completely innocent of doing no more than asking to have his seat is dead at age 17 with nothing but promise lying in front of him and in the arms of his own twin brother. There's an element to this that must be mentioned, and that is that the assailant was black and the victim was white. And one thing that's very obvious to all of us is if the races were reversed, you wouldn't just be hearing about this on this show and a handful of others. It would be blanketing the national airwaves coast to coast. But it's not, because honestly, white boys' lives don't matter.
So understand something. She is doing her Carolyn Bryant to Emmett Till. So if you want to know why it was so important and so dastardly that bastard Barack Obama and Joe Biden and their so-called Justice Department, with their civil rights bedwench, by the way, we will not forget about her either. When they sat up here and did that mess, there was a reason why it was so imperative that we go after Carolyn Bryant. It was very imperative because they understand the optics of this kind of thing. They understand the optics of it here because that is important. That's important. It's important because she just let you know the only thing that mattered was their race, because she sees a racial component to it. She sees a racial component to it that she's looking to see how she can use it. How do we use that? And that's exactly what she went to. Left out all the facts now. The only fact that matters is, well, there's a white person dead and there's a black person we can blame for it. And the facts of the matter and the actual events don't matter. Whatever the circumstances were, that doesn't matter. Everyone needs to be mobilized. And that's all you need to hear is a white person seems to have been harmed. And that's all we need to know, period. Now, of course, she has no shortage of white male, suspected white supremacists to join her, who, of course, told the white supremacist line. All they need to know is you're black, and then they go off into a racist screed because, of course, they can't help themselves, because the re-election of Donald Trump has enabled them and emboldened them, and this is good. This is exactly what we need to have.
Your thoughts, Michael?
The fact that you even have to walk on eggshells to state this obvious fact about the case shows you, in no small part, how we got to this place in the first place. It's just a horrible story. What amazing grace from this boy's father, who says, I already forgive him, which is to say, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. And
Okay, if he already forgives him, why are y'all talking? You should have just moved on. Like when black folk get harmed by police and everybody else, oh, well, if they forgive, it's time to move on. The media here isn't giving the forgive, time to move on. They're saying, wait a minute now, it don't matter what you forgive. Hang them high. And by the way, that's exactly what this guy here, Megyn Kelly, sure does know how to find vicious white supremacists and suspected white supremacists to join her to target black children, because wait till you hear what he says here in just a moment.
I will repay, their foot shall slide in due time. That is not to say that the boy should not be arrested, prosecuted, imprisoned for life, at least, if not more. And,
imprisoned for life, at least, if not more. What? Does he even hear himself right now? Does he understand how life works? No, of course not. This is reactionary, emotional, white supremacist vomit and drivel. Of course he's not thinking rationally. White supremacy is not rational, people. It's propaganda. It's not rational. He should be in prison for life, if not more. If not, what's the more? What is the more? Your life and? What are you talking about? I know he's not trying to say that. I think what he may try to come back with later say, well, if more means the death penalty. Really? That doesn't apply here, which he knows that too. by the way, 17 years old, life doesn't apply, and the death penalty doesn't apply here either. The death penalty absolutely does not apply here. And yet he's telling you what he wishes. So all the excuses that they have historically given us, all of a sudden that flies out the window because we're white and we say so. Jason, what is it that's upsetting them? What is it that's making them so angry? What is it that's making them so mad right now? I'll let you know what's making them so mad right now because this is occurring as we go right here. This is a crowdfunding that's been set up by Carmelo's family here. They have a goal of $150,000, and so far they have raised $103,000.
It's over 200,000 now.
$1,000. If you want to know why it is that things are upsetting and disturbing a bunch of people out.
Revolutionary salute to our queen Yaya's kids because she got with me yesterday and sent a nice donation on behalf of the Core Figure platform to the family Revolutionary Way of Life.
There is because what they're saying to themselves is this isn't supposed to happen. You are supposed to be able to harm black people with impunity. Now, if you are white, we're supposed to gather together and support the cause of white supremacy. And of course, they throw money first and foremost. Now you're seeing a different situation form up here. So yeah, a lot of folks are feeling offended and feeling bad real quickly there. That's exactly what's going on for them there. So these folks are not happy. They're not happy at all at how they're seeing things unfold. And what I'm going to do here, and this is for you, if it falls on your heart to do so, it is up to you. This is the crowdfunding link here. I'm going to go ahead and post this in the chat room to support Carmelo. We'll go ahead and put that up here. There that is in the chat room. If you are so inclined to want to click on the link there, you definitely can go ahead and do that. If you are so inclined to click on it, if the spirit moves you to do so, you may do so. It's up to you if the spirit so moves you. So just be aware that that is out there. Just be aware that that is out there, and it has a lot of these white supremacists and suspected white supremacists mad as hell.
Yeah, they mad as hell. And I see a lot of shoe shiners upset too, talking about black people are supporting the killer. And I'm like, oh yeah, now we know. Now we know how to get under their skin, support our people openly like this and stand on business. They are upset. They are pissed. You goddamn right. This is the war strategy. I told you, see, this was the greatest tool, the crowdfunding, because everybody can chip in 10, 15, 20 from all of us, and we can always help one another like this. And even, like I say, send to some of these prisons to deal with these blackface Ku Klux Klan members when they harm our people and think they're going to go hide in prison. That's a motherfucking lie.
They are mad. They are furious. The police, if I would dare to call them a police department, of course, in Texas, the home of the barrel roll cop and other atrocities throughout history. They're in Frisco, Texas, and let me make things clear for you all out there who don't know or don't understand. Let me give you a little bit of a historical context here. I want to make sure you have a bit of a historical context so that you can understand exactly what it is that offends them so badly about this. What is it that offends them so badly when you see this kind of thing occur or when you hear about this? Why does this bother them so much? Why? And what you need to know, and I should know, I was there 30 years ago. You know, you had Ron Kirk. He was the mayor of Dallas. And a lot was moving for black folk back then, really making roots. If you were from Louisiana, Dallas was the place to go when you graduated from high school. So a lot was going on in Dallas proper. But also, this was when you saw the rise of the Dallas Metroplex, when you really saw the Dallas Metroplex take off. So this is about the time that they did the Cowboys Stadium, which at the time, if you all remember, it was the most expensive sports arena ever built when they did that back in the 90s for the Dallas Cowboys. So a lot was popping in that area. A lot was going on. I need you to understand what was going on. That was the last time that you could refer to Dallas as a second tier city. It was a superpower unto itself. Once we get to the 90s, Dallas, it's the rise of Dallas. But it's not just the rise of Dallas, it's the rise of the Dallas Metroplex, because remember, Dallas Cowboys Stadium is not in Dallas, Texas. It's not in Dallas proper. It's in Irving, Texas. It is not in Dallas proper. So neither is DFW. Dallas Fort Worth International Airport is not in Dallas, Texas either. But they call it the Dallas Metroplex. So when you take a look at those things, the Amazon Fulfillment Center, there's a lot of things that are called Dallas. Arlington. Thank you all for correcting that, Arlington. Got my folks there correcting that, Arlington. There's a lot of folks who they hear Dallas and don't understand it. Everybody just calls themselves Dallas. It's kind of like in Florida with Orlando. Everything around Orlando, you can put on your postcards and stuff, Orlando, and it'll still get to the right address, even though they're not actually in the city of Orlando. So the rise of the Dallas Metroplex, when you got Dallas and Irving and Garland and Plano and Mesquite and Addison and Richardson, and then up above Plano, Allen, all of that's blown up. Now, back in the 90s, Plano, Texas was just a quiet suburb, bedroom community. Now they got freeways through there. They got great, big, huge, sprawling mega mall out there, things that weren't even existing at the time. So the whole Metroplex is really shaping up to be this mega city. And if you go online, you can see reports about that the high-speed rail that they're putting between Dallas and Houston, you could see the rise of your first mega city in America, where basically you just have the Houston and Dallas that their metropolitan areas are going to be, and their suburbs are going to keep extending until finally they kind of just merge with each other. So that is just how gigantic it has become. And what I'm saying is that in a lot of these places here, in Addison and Plano and up into Allen, Texas, and Garland, these are areas that, you know, the white suburbs you always heard about. The money has retreated there, and places like Frisco, Texas. Frisco is one of those suburb areas that has also blown up. And as a result, the ethnic and racial marking of these areas, see, the black folk in Dallas, you're supposed to be down there in DeSoto. That's the idea, is that everybody in Dallas is supposed to get priced out, and all the black folks are supposed to just get sequestered down there in DeSoto, Texas, all pushed down south, which is what you see in Chicago, South Side. Well, Dallas is no different. All the black folks are supposed to get pushed down into DeSoto, Texas. You can go take a look at the map of the Dallas Metroplex, and you can see where DeSoto is. And that's where black folks will get pushed down into DeSoto. And that's where you're supposed to be shoved off. You're supposed to be down there. So when you start going north of Interstate 20, when you start getting, and certainly when you get north of Interstate 30, when you get north of Interstate 30, oh, you ain't really supposed to be, you're supposed to shop there. You can shop there, you can spend money there, but you ain't really supposed to live there. Not really. So as Dr. Claude Anderson always taught us, they've racially marked these areas and ethnically put up ethnic barriers in these areas to market that you're not really welcome here. Doesn't matter how smart your kids are. It doesn't matter how capable. It doesn't matter all that other stuff there. You're not supposed to be here. And what they'll do in a lot of these cases, historically, yeah, they teach the kids this, and then the kids go to school and they're supposed to be hazing you or bullying you because they've been told that they have permission to do so, because everybody knows the deal. It's their job to be Kyle Rittenhouse. Damn. Which, of course, begs the next question. How is it that Megyn Kelly, seemingly so outraged about this, why is it she doesn't make the Kyle Rittenhouse comparison? Why doesn't she make the Daniel Penny comparison? She does not at any point here do what the law says, and that you assume he's innocent. So if he says it's self-defense, why is she not articulating self-defense? Why she's immediately doing it for Daniel Penny when you saw him on video attack an unarmed, mentally ill man who had touched no one. Jordan Neely didn't touch anyone. Jordan Neely did not touch anyone on that subway, and yet Megyn Kelly and the rest of them have defended murdering him, even though he touched no one. Now you have an incident where these individuals went way beyond talking. They touched Carmelo Anthony. They had assaulted him. And I'm not speaking out of turn. Oh, no, I brought the receipts, people. And if I have this and I know this, then Megyn Kelly knows this too. And her so-called guests know this too. So why are they not simply saying what I'm saying here now? What I want to do here, I want to go to an article that's been put out here. And this is from Fox 4. Frisco track meet stabbing. Police warn against misinformation online. I wonder what that would be. Frisco PD is urging people to be on the lookout for false information. Police say misinformation is being spread online about the deadly stabbing of the Frisco track meet earlier this week. Frisco police say that the only official releases from verified accounts should be trusted. And then it says here, misinformation, what they're saying. Frisco police have released multiple statements trying to combat misinformation in this case. Quote, yesterday evening, a fictitious account was created using my name, perpetuating misinformation, wrote Frisco Police Chief David Shulson. Keep this guy in mind because, suspected white supremacists all over him. We'll come back to it. Shulson says they are investigating who made the account. The chief says it is a criminal offense and a third-degree felony. Isn't that interesting? Well, then you should have a lot more felonies out there, shouldn't you, sir? On Friday night, the Frisco Police Department also addressed an image on social media claiming to be a report from the Collin County Medical Examiner's Office. Quote, at this time, the report has not been released. Therefore, any information currently found online is false. Frisco police say that only official releases from verified accounts should be trusted. They are urging people not to spread any unconfirmed information. Meanwhile, they do not want to disseminate any information. Folks, if what you're doing is above board, why are you not giving out information? By the way, keep this image in mind that you see on your screen right here that has the tent and then the blue tarp covering the body. We're going to show a different angle that will put this in a different context for you. He says, quote, based on my 23 years of serving Frisco, I wonder which parts of Frisco he means. I am confident in the city's ability to respond to this tragedy with compassion and empathy. Together, we must all demonstrate mutual respect for one another. The Metcalf family, that's the white kid, according to Megyn Kelly, has made clear through their statements during this difficult week that they will lean on their faith to guide them. I encourage our community to do the same. So the police chief here has obviously chosen racial sides. So, of course, To Kill a Mockingbird is in full effect. Bull Connor is doing what he does. Why couldn't he just say, everyone, don't give out misinformation. This concludes our press conference. No, he wants to let everyone know that when the Ku Klux Klan turned in their white robes, there were plenty of police uniforms available at that time. And he wants to let you know whose side he's on. He's not on the side of the truth. He's not on the side of the right people. He's on the side of the white people. So shameless is not beyond the pale here. So very clearly you can see that that's what's going on here. So it shouldn't surprise you when you see those kind of things. But it goes even further. It goes even further here. Now, let me go to ABC. I want to go to ABC News here so that you all can see a different view of the scene of the incident. Now, if you take a look at this, as you can see, there is the tent where the track kids for Frisco Memorial were sitting. You can see another tent for another school right behind it. I think it says Liberty. So you can see where the tent is, and then you see where they got the blue tarps up there. So what I'm saying is that if Carmelo was sitting on one of these seats down here, as you can see, there's not a your seat. These are bleachers. There's not a your seat. Even if he's not from your school, there's not a your seat. There's plenty of room, but there's more to this story. Don't worry. There's more to it. But as you can see, this was a tent on bleachers. There was no your seat. This wasn't a high school lunchroom and there were only 10 seats and Carmelo grabbed somebody's seat. Megyn Kelly knew this. Now, I'm showing this to you all. Megyn Kelly is supposed to be the news person. She's supposed to be a lawyer, lawyer. And she's supposed to work for Fox News, so she's been supposed to be way more trained than Jason Black. And yet I'm showing you all the pictures publicly available. And does this look like there was a seat to steal or there was a seat to take from somebody? So what the hell is she talking about? She's talking about white supremacy. That's what she's talking about. As they get older, they start trying to reinforce and bolster their white supremacist credentials. Now, first I'm showing you the tent. Next, I'm showing you now, if the issue happened under here, how the hell did he get all the way up here? Now, if Carmelo isn't even supposed to be in this tent, and if the goal was to get Carmelo out from under the tent, how did they end all the way up here? 6, 7 bleachers away. How did you end up all the way up here? If Justin and his Metcalf and his brother and their schoolmates were all supposed to be under here, and if the goal was to get Carmelo out from under here, well, then how did you end up dead up here? 7 bleachers away, under no tent whatsoever. Megyn Kelly, how is it that you didn't point out what I just did? Not looking very good for you. Not looking very good for you at all. Now, if I know this, they know this. So why didn't they show you what I'm showing you, which is, by the way, why are you so far away? Because what she just described was he told him he was under the tent. He told him, get out of my seat. Actually, would you please get up from my seat? That's not what happened. And that he was stabbed, that he just got stabbed. Well, obviously that didn't occur. Anybody who's been in high school, and most of us have, anybody who's been in a high school stadium or a college stadium had to go up bleachers. You know, it's hell getting up bleachers. They're very steep. Okay, well, that doesn't jive with her description of the events. Her deceptive description of the events. This doesn't jibe with it. If he said something here and then immediately got stabbed, what's going on here? There's more to find out, is what I'm saying. There's more to find out. Like to go a little bit further here. And like I say, one more thing. I'm not even making any definitive statements. Do you all hear? I'm doing what you're supposed to do. I'm simply asking questions. I'm not subscribing any sort of concrete version of the events. And I'm certainly not saying, well, he black, so everything fine. I'm simply saying, wait a minute, I got questions. This is what a journalist is supposed to do. I'm asking questions. Megyn should simply be asking questions because she has no facts. All she's got is speculation. The only thing you know for certain is that, well, one appears to be black and the other one appears to be Caucasian. And that was the only thing she was interested in. And the discussion after that is all about race for her because this is the month of April. What? Now, for many of you, it is New Black Media Appreciation Month, but never forget. By the way, folks, this is the month of April. We just started the month of April. This is a white supremacist holy month. This is one of their historical months that they celebrate many an icon, many a hero, many a date of infamy and murder. So among white supremacists, white nationalists, this is an important month. This isn't just any ordinary month. Quiet is kept. April is a special month. And nothing would make them prouder in the month of April than a lynching. It is not complete. It is not fully fulfilled without a lynching. There needs to be one. Now, please understand, folks, lynchings are not for the guilty. In the system of white supremacy, lynching is an act of terrorism. Terrorism is in order to control and dominate populations. You are guilty of being born. Therefore, it is important to get a victim who is innocent. You have to prove that you are willing to grab any black person anywhere and harm them and kill them. That is what legitimizes lynching. Not finding somebody guilty of something, finding somebody innocent, lying and claiming they did something so that you can demonstrate reality is whatever we say it is. We can do whatever we want to. We can kill you with impunity. That's the whole point of lynching. Get an innocent person, murder them with impunity to demonstrate that we can do it, that we're bloodthirsty and vicious enough that this is the way we live in white supremacy. And now it comes to the month of April, and they were looking forward to a number of things, but this was not what they were looking forward to. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't in the format, but they've seized upon it as an opportunity. Then let's see if we can flip this thing. They're trying to create a narrative early. They were hoping that no one was watching. They hoped wrong. They hoped wrong. And I would be remiss if I did not remind you that the bedwench whores such as Kristen Clark, who served as the chief bootlick and bedwench of lack of civil rights under Joe Biden's Injustice Department, sat up here and let Carolyn Bryant off the hook for the murder of Emmett Till. Understand, white supremacy understands the power of optics. It understands the power of images. I need you all to understand something. In marketing and advertising and psychology, one of the things that you have to remember is that images are more powerful than words. You can talk to somebody and they'll remember it for a minute. They will remember an image for the rest of their lives. So imagery is powerful. There's a reason that immediately after Donald Trump got a bullet sliced through his ear when they tried to shoot him dead, they immediately started disseminating an image. It was, you saw, all of us saw them on right-wing media, Fox News, all the white supremacists everywhere. The first thing they started doing was disseminating the image of him with his fist in the air and blood running down his face. They realized the power of imagery, and they've been doing this forever. This goes back way before Joseph Goebbels, people. This goes back way before Joseph Goebbels, and maybe one day I'll do a program just dissecting that even further. This goes way before Joseph Goebbels. Please understand something. Words are poetry. Pictures are art. What? Words are poetry, but pictures is art. A picture is a piece of art. So you can describe something to someone, you can say it in flowery words, but it would be like trying to describe the color blue to a blind person. Some things you have to see in order to get the full impact and impression of it. So when you have an image, that changes things. Rosa Parks on the bus was an image. Muhammad Ali over Sonny Liston was an image. Malcolm X by the window with the gun was an image. MLK at the March on Washington was an image. All of that was very important. Images matter more than words. So if you had shown the imagery of, after all these decades,
Revolution, salute to our Queen Yaya's kids for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is where life. Absolutely appreciate the love, Queen. And I already told everybody that you donated something to Carmelo Anthony's GoFundMe on behalf of the platform and show love to the family, and we appreciate that. Salute.
AIDS, Carolyn Bryant being wheeled out of the nursing home, off to the courthouse to serve time, to be prosecuted for the murder of Emmett Till, that would have been an Armageddon psychological event in America. The optics that this is what could happen. Negroes ain't supposed to be powerful enough to cause something like that to occur. If you kill a black person, you're supposed to be able to do it with impunity. And if they show the actual images of you being punished and that we can go back in time and do what Jewish people have done and go grab these killers and march them off to the gallows, well, that would be just devastating to the white supremacist psyche. That would be an annihilistic event to the white supremacist psyche. That image. That can't be allowed to happen. Not that image. So when you show, allegedly, because we don't know what has occurred yet, but when you show allegedly that a white teenager may have died as a result of attacking a black teenager, well, the image of that, oh, no. White kids supposed to be able to do whatever they want to do. Fall out in the grocery store, talk back to their parents, get some guns, shoot them, whatever. They're supposed to be able to do whatever they want to do. And as a black teenager, as a black person, you are supposed to be controlled. If you are attacked, you're supposed to just sit there and hold your head down and hope that you don't die. But you're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to be controlled. So even if a white person assaults you, that white person is living out their God-given rights and liberty. You have no rights in a system of white supremacy. As a black child, you have no rights. Your job is that if a white person does something to you, you just hope they don't mess you up too bad. That's the most you can hope for. And if you die, oh well, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. But they, as a white person, no matter their age, were living out their rights and privileges in a system of white supremacy. And your job is to just hope that today your number don't come up. But if it does, you serve your purpose in feeding the white supremacist machine. This is the mentality of the white supremacist animals like Megyn Kelly and her ilk. This is them. This is them. Now, in case you think I'm being hyperbolic and going too far and not saying enough or whatever, I'd like to go a little bit further into this. Because I think it's important for you to see exactly what occurred here. Since you're not going to get any of these other folk to tell it to you like this. In the Daily Mail, they have an article that they did there. I'd like to go ahead and show that to you. Now, way down in the article, they got it buried. Way down in the article now, they got it buried. What you see on your screen here. Witnesses claim to have seen an argument between Metcalf and Anthony. Now, this is Justin Metcalf over here on the left, and this is his twin brother, I believe, over here on the right. We have that correctly there. Austin's twin brother. Yeah. So I believe that this is Justin over here on the left, and this is his brother Hunter over there on the right.
Salute, fella.
Witnesses claim to have seen an argument between Metcalf and Anthony, a Centennial High School student. As described in the police report, still looking to get that, by the way, Metcalf told Anthony to move out from Memorial's pop-up tent that had been used during a downpour. What? Oh! Hey, Megan the Bigot Kelly, Megan Ku Klux Kelly. Hey, Megan Ku Klux Kelly, why did you not include that part? Hey, to Megan Ku Klux Kelly. Why didn't you say that part? Because, well, that puts things in a different light. Because for anybody asking, well, why was Anthony over here if this wasn't even his team's tent? You don't know if he knew somebody. You don't have any of those details. But by the way, they're saying that there was a downpour. So they're saying here, as described in the police report, if Megyn Kelly saw the police report, then this lying white supremacist harpy saw that the police report said, well, they were under the tent because there was a downpour. Now, how bad was it raining at the time? We don't know, but we do know that that's in the police report, that they felt it was that the events were significant enough that, okay, they were under there because it was raining. Well, that changes things. You know, having these little tidbits, well, that alters everything, because all Megan told you was black kid kills white kid because polite white kid says, move from here. But here's the thing. Witnesses claim they've seen an argument between Metcalf and Anthony. And that's what they said. Anthony allegedly reached into his gym bag and told Metcalf, touch me and we'll see what happens. Now, obviously, you're missing something in here. Obviously, something else happened before. But watch this. Metcalf reached into his gym bag, and Anthony reached into his gym bag and told Metcalf, touch me and we'll see what happens. Metcalf pushes Anthony. Now, folks, we are way past Jordan Neely territory here. Even if you just wanted to say, well, you shouldn't stab him because him and his brother ran up on you. Him and his twin brother together ran up on Anthony in a rainstorm under a tent. They ran up on him and said, get out from under our tent. And he said, hey, don't touch me, man. We're going to make you do this. Hey, don't put your hands on me. By the way, he said that to the police. I told them, don't put your hands on me. They then the police report clearly says they put their hands on him. And so he pulled a weapon, and this is classic self-defense. He didn't sit there and go Jason Voorhees and stab him 50 times. He did it just enough so that he could get away. He did just enough to neutralize the threat, and then he left. Which is everything that they say, well, why'd you have to sit up there and keep hitting them? He didn't do that, and yet Megyn Kelly and her suspected white supremacist guest, she's very good for finding slugs like this, they're saying you can't defend yourself if you're black. So, by the way, this is in the police report. And why is it Megyn Kelly didn't say this? Jason Black is saying it. Megyn Kelly just went right over it and didn't say a word. She sat there and told you that he was sitting in Justin's seat, and Justin politely asked him to get up, when everybody is now saying, actually, Justin and his brother, the two twin football players, Justin and his brother decided that they were going to force the issue. And Anthony told them, hey, dude, don't touch me. Don't put your hands on me, man. And they decided we have the right to do whatever we want to. And that's the reason Megyn Kelly is mad, because according to the George Zimmerman, Kyle Rittenhouse cases, this is clear-cut, clean-cut self-defense. According to Jordan Neely, the murder of Jordan Neely, well, this was clear-cut self-defense. Jordan Neely didn't even touch anybody, and Megyn Kelly is defending Daniel Penny, who Jordan Neely didn't touch Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny snuck up behind Jordan Neely. We've covered that before, because white supremacists are cowards by nature. They've never been heroic and never will be. So Daniel Penny was defending himself by sneaking up behind Jordan Neely, who had touched no one, and strangles him to death. And yet Anthony Carmelo is not defending himself when two fellas sit up here and attack him. When he said, don't touch me, don't put your hands on me, we're going to do whatever we want to. What if we do, then what? Touch me and you'll find out. Well, we're going to press the issue anyway. If Carmelo was someplace he wasn't supposed to be, where was the track coach, people? Damn! These are simple questions. Why didn't they go get their coach? Why didn't they go get an adult? Why didn't they go call someone from their team? Why didn't they get one of the employees of their team, of their school, to go remove Anthony if he wasn't supposed to be there, if he didn't have any right to be there? Why didn't they just go get one of the adults, or why didn't one of the adults say something? I would like to find out more details about why it is an adult didn't say anything. Is it because they're not supposed to? Because Anthony wasn't doing anything wrong? And that somebody decided, oh, well, it's just two of our football players got a little rambunctious, letting the Negro know where he ain't supposed to be. Because unless you have some rule that says he's not supposed to be there, why didn't they go get the adults to tell Anthony, hey, go over there where your school is? These are simple questions that Megyn Kelly and her white supremacist flunkies would have asked if they were not white supremacists. What they're hoping is that broadcasts like this that give you all the details, that this doesn't go viral and folks don't talk about this because, oh yeah, by the way, these are the facts that change everything and show and expose her for the scumbag liar that she is. And all the others. The problem that they have is the optics. A black teenager who apparently, according to this version of the events, was simply defending himself, and unfortunate as it may be, someone died as a result. Well, they want to, that's never supposed to happen, period. Now, if it was the other way around, Megyn Kelly would be saying, oh, well, messed around and found out. Who's raising these kids here? They shouldn't do that. If he did, obviously he was scared. He was worried. So recognize when you are dealing with scumbag race warriors and talk about a pathetic crew this is. But you know what? Maybe you all have gotten short memories. Maybe people have gotten short memories. Maybe they've gotten short memories. They don't quite remember things as much here. So I would like to take you all down a trip down scumbag white supremacist lane and go ahead and remind you of just last year. Oh yeah, Megan, you gonna get the business. I need to remind you that just last year, why this was Megyn Kelly with another one of her suspected white supremacist groupies, why Rich Lowry, who was talking about Haitian illegal aliens. And do we all remember what this little gem that he contributed on her show?
You bring other facts to bear in the debate that are being ignored. And that's what he was saying. And I think it was in that interview where Dana Bash says, the police have gone through 11 months of recordings of calls, and they've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian migrants taking geese, migrants taking geese from ponds. Only calling to complain about Haitian migrants taking geese from ponds. Only.
Yeah, we're way past Los Angeles Nakers. We way past Los Angeles Nakers. Y'all remember this was back in September before Trump got reelected. This is the Megyn Kelly show on YouTube. Just 6 months ago. And by the way, she has defended Rich Lowry ever since. She has defended him adamantly. She has never wavered. She has continuously defended him after this and told you, and she has maintained that what you just heard was not what you just heard. She has been adamant that you did not hear what you just heard, that he just stumbled over migrant. That he was trying to say migrant and it came out nigger. She has maintained that to this day. However, that might be a little bit too far away for you there. That might be a little bit too far in the past. Oh, Megan, this is Jason Black you're talking about here. I don't just bring receipts, I bring invoices. I don't just tell you what you paid, heifer. I tell you what you owe. On the same program, Megyn Kelly, very, very angry and jealous, by the way. Megyn Kelly, when you get these old, aged out spinsters who, they can't really get the money anymore for having perky breasts and blonde hair. It's just the blonde hair got to come in a bottle and Ain't nobody really paying to see you in a negligee or anything like that. You can't get that negligee money at Fox News from the sexual harassers. You can't get that negligee money, that Teddy money no more. Well, Megyn Kelly on the same program that she was sitting up here attacking Carmelo Anthony on for being black, on the same program, she was talking about Ashley St. Clair, who Elon Musk has had yet another bastard kid. Auntie, chill. So this guy here, if I let this continue playing, this clown here, Michael Knowles, talks about, why is it we can't talk about the black community and 70% of the kids are born out of wedlock? I mean, I can let it keep playing if you all want to, but you can go play that. You can see the title of her video there. Oh, okay, you can't see it. Random and tragic stabbing. But you can go to her channel and see the video for yourself. And he said something talking about, why can't we talk about the 70% of black children who are born out of wedlock and how this leads to those things? Well, Elon Musk is making children out of wedlock like a son of a gun. He making children out of wedlock like a son of a gun. We're up to like, what, a baker's dozen? And this Ashley St. Clair, listen to what? Let me make sure I got my clips lined up here properly. Because she sits up here and talks about this woman. Let me go ahead and jump ahead. I got the wrong one queued up there. Listen to what she says about Elon Musk's latest baby mama, since we're talking about bastard kids and single moms and illegitimate children.
To a young woman who wants a fabulous New York apartment because she was bragging about how swanky it was to the New York Post. You can do that. You don't have to bang a billionaire and have a love child. By the way, it's her second who she had out of wedlock before she turned 30.
Okay, well, she doesn't link this to school shooters and affluenza. Isn't that very interesting? Now, remember, this is the same program now that she was talking to this suspected white supremacist scum on. She doesn't link this to, school shooters and affluenza, kids driving drunk because they come from rich white families, things like that. She doesn't do any of that here. So all of a sudden, she's not worried about the illegitimacy rate in white society, especially rich white society. All of a sudden, it doesn't bother her. Isn't that interesting? Same program that she was talking to this clown on. Remember, same one. Oh, but I'm not done just yet. Not done just yet, because this is what she says earlier on. Now, this is what she says, basically defending Elon Musk. But this is what she says earlier on. Now, listen to this. Just in case you all thought that Megyn Kelly was done with her white supremacist ways back in 2024. Oh, hell no. This is the same day she was attacking Carmelo Anthony.
I think that's what he's doing. Now, what happens to slowing population? But I know he's like seriously committed ideologically to.
She's talking about Elon Musk and why it is he's having so many bastard kids by so many women. She's talking about Elon Musk, and she's explaining, because she understands that Elon Musk is an Afrikaner and he sees it as bolstering the white population. She never says white population. She says population. She doesn't say what everybody knows. Oh, Elon Musk thinks he's bolstering the white population because he ain't got no little black kids out there. So she's talking about Elon Musk when she starts, but listen how she finishes.
Maybe he'll tell me, but I know he's like seriously committed ideologically to slowing population rates. He really feels that there's a societal responsibility to repopulate. And I know it's like the joke, oh, he's doing his part, but I actually think that's what he's doing. Now, what happens to these babies who grow up without a father? That very valid question. I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think I like the answer to that. I think the reason most people give.
She's got the answer for black babies, though, doesn't she? What happens to the white ones? I don't know. I wish I knew. Okay, well, over here with Mr. Jackassery, you seem to have all the answers. Interesting how you're very selective about that. Ain't that right, Sarah Palin and Bristol Palin? Ain't that amazing? Every time we bring it up, it's like, by the way, we can name some white kids doing that. all of a sudden it's not a social ill anymore. It's a gee willikers. We don't know what that is. We don't know why it's.
They would never let black men get away with saying that we just gonna have a bunch of babies to repopulate the babies that's being killed by the white supremacists, and that's that is our way of thinking. They would, but she just tried to say Elon Musk was doing the work of the white race by having all those babies, and she snuck that in there. That's exactly what she said.
It's happening. She doesn't know why Elon's doing it. She doesn't know what the effect will be. She don't know nothing. But when she looks at you, she knows everything. Now, isn't that interesting?
Grew up without a father. That very valid question. I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think I like the answer to that. I think the reason most people give Elon a pass is because he's just such a larger than life figure who's about just so much more than his personal life that it almost just gets shrunk. It's like talking about Thomas Jefferson with his affair partner. It's like, we don't really care. He's Thomas Jefferson for the.
What? Oh, you heard that correctly. Let me back that up one more again.
Life that it almost just gets shrunk. It's like talking about Thomas Jefferson with his affair partner. It's like, we don't really care. He's
Thomas Jefferson and his affair partner?
Oh, the slaves he was sleeping with?
You mean the slave Sally Hemings? You mean her? Y'all, is Megan talking about, the slave Sally Hemings?
That was rape.
Is Megan calling Sally Hemings Thomas Jefferson's partner? So Sally Hemings was living in a middle-class neighborhood, taking care of the bastard kids, and according to Megyn Kelly. Please understand, these are, and by the way, Anna Kasparian did not say a word about that. Damn! Hey, Chank Uger, you need to come pull your broad. Hey, Janky Chank, why don't you come pull your broad? Anna sat there and heard that and didn't say a word, didn't lift a finger. Now, everyone knows the history of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, which is why they're fighting so viciously to try to attempt to sanitize the American history books in Florida, Tennessee, Texas, and other places, so they don't teach you who Sally Hemings even was. They try to tell you that's some conspiracy theory online. It's an absolute fact. We have the genetics. Thomas Jefferson's black heirs and black descendants. Hell, I think one of them just put out a picture posing as Thomas Jefferson. So, yeah, we've already proven beyond the shadow of a doubt. Yeah, he did it. He sure did. He sure did. And Anna is sitting right there, lockstep with white supremacy there. Didn't say a word to say, wait a minute, Megan, you're going a little too far there, ma'am. A slave cannot consent to anything. But understand, I will give Megyn Kelly this. As the white supremacist demonic monster that she is, she's being consistent. That her gripe is that you as a black person, you have no rights. Megyn Kelly's only gripe here and axe to grind is, how dare you as a black person, you have no rights. You don't have the right to earn. You don't have the right to prosper. You don't have the right to eat. You don't have the right not to be raped. You don't have the right not to be killed if a white person decides you don't. You only have the rights that are extended to you by whatever random white person is standing in front of you, and your rights, including the right to live, are immediately revoked if any random white person decides that you should surrender them. So, of course, Sally Hemings has no rights. If we want to reclassify you from a slave being raped to, oh, well, you were one of Thomas Jefferson. Well, you can't call her a mistress because there were too many white men who actually had real mistresses. Damn! So you can't say that Sally Hemings is a mistress because there's nothing in the manner in which she was treated that indicates that she was a mistress. So you can't call her that. So they've come up with a new term because white supremacy says reality is whatever we say these days. 2 + 2 = 9, damn it. So now his affair partner. People, why didn't she say mistress? Because she can't say mistress because Sally Hemings was not a mistress. Well, if she was a mistress, what was she? Why is it that you're not saying that she was a mistress? Because she didn't have a choice. And that is what determines everything. You can't be a concubine unless you choose it. And you can't have choices when you have no rights. If Thomas Jefferson was able to come up to her on any random evening and tell her, look here, the wife gone, she ain't got the good like you got, in the words of John Henry Clark, drop it off. She can't say no. Sally Hemings and none of the other black women that Thomas Jefferson and the rest of those bestial slave masters were rummaging on, none of those women had the right to say no. I don't like your old stinky ass with your rotted teeth. None of them had the right to say no. Therefore, they're not mistresses. They're not concubines. They ain't jump-offs. They're not anything but slaves. And Megyn Kelly is a lawyer, which is why she's using tricky language. Do you realize the level of skullduggery and devilment you have to be? How big of a demon you have to be doing what she's doing right there? And with Anna sitting right there with her. So I want to take this as a moment to remind you, take a look on your screen. On the left, ironically enough, you have the so-called right-wing white female. And on the right, you have the so-called left-wing white female. And in reality, they are both twin wings on the same bird of white supremacy. When it comes to your black ass, they are both on the same side. They're not on the left side or the right side. They're on the white side, and they're all teamed up against you.
And deal with it.
Now, isn't that interesting? When you get them together, you ain't got a friend in the room. They're both on the same side, defending, attacking you. You have no rights. Both of them. You think snuggling up with the so-called liberal white female is going to defend you? Well, don't worry. She'll look out for me. She's one of our white allies. Chank needs to come check his broad. You need to come check your broad. Chank is looking janky over here, dude. It's looking janky. She needs to give an account of herself. What's she going to say? That she doesn't know about Sally Hemings? That she doesn't know who Sally Hemings was? Take a look at it. She knows exactly who it is. And what she's letting you know is, hey, we going in on your black asses. Trump is giving her the cover to finally be what she's always wanted to be. And she's like, damn it, the race war is on. The race war is on. And that she and the so-called right-wingers are on the same side of the issue, the side against us. Now, it used to be that they used to be able to get away with these things. It used to be that they ran the yard and ran the roost. It used to be that they had real solid foundation up under them. But it's not that way anymore. Ben Shapiro was talking to Malcolm Gladwell about the murder of George Floyd. Malcolm Gladwell was basically capitulating on every damn thing, which is once again why it is that only we should be speaking up for us. Understand something. Ben Shapiro is never going to have a competent person from the new black media to speak to, because he watched what happened to Richard Spencer. He watched what happened to Jared Taylor. When I spoke to them, decapitation. And he's not going to allow that. They never allow somebody competent to sit up there and speak, because it goes real fast, real quickly, real bad. So they bring on somebody else who isn't really going to do anything to shut down their lies, because that's what they're there to do. Because when they get together, both of them are there to defend white supremacy. And that's what they do. But you know what? That's okay too. That's all right too. Jason, what do you mean by that? Well, because understand something. You can only be fake for so long. The Daily Wire is having financial troubles. What? Oh, yeah. The gravy train was rolling good for a minute. The gravy train was rolling good for a minute, getting that money from them dudes down there in Texas or wherever, and the gravy train was rolling good for just a minute. It was rolling good for a minute, and now the gravy train's starting to dry up. Oh, they're laying people off. Jeremy Boring has had to step down as CEO. Things is getting light over there at the Daily Wire. It's getting light over there. It's getting light over there. Days are getting lean. They can't keep their biggest people. Oh man, it's getting rough over there. Days are getting lean. They're having to eat ramen noodles over there. They're having to eat ramen noodles over there, y'all. It's getting rough. It's getting rough. Why, just last year they were claiming that they were worth $1 billion. This year, you got people who work for the company blowing the whistle, talking about, man, don't let them folks lie to you. We ain't got no damn money. Oh, boy. So what were they trying to do? Were they trying to get somebody to purchase their business before those people could figure out how much the business had declined? Were they trying to get somebody to purchase the Daily Wire before somebody could go over the books and find out how badly the business had deteriorated? Because if you listen to them, you would think that Matt Walsh's whack-ass little documentary films, why, you would have thought that they were cashing in money hand over fist. That's what you would have thought. And the way that YouTube boosts them in the algorithm, and for those of you who missed our program last night about the hypocritical black Democrats on the tariffs, folks, there's folk all over the damn place paying money to YouTube to boost their channels in the algorithm. And I ain't talking about they pay $100 here and $100 there. Folk, I'm talking about they pay $10,000 here, $25,000 over there. They do it on YouTube. They do it on Facebook. They do it on Instagram. They do it on Twitter. That's part of the payroll. That's part of the budget. They have whole parts of their budgets dedicated to boosting their channels and paying these companies to boost their channels in the algorithm. Yes. Yes, they do. They got whole channels dedicated to boosting them in the algorithm. Whole parts of their budgets dedicated to that. That's what they have. It's not accidental. Not accidental at all. They do that for a reason. So when you want to know what the real money is for, that's what it's for. That money is there. They got whole budgets dedicated to doing stuff on a level we can't even really talk about. We can't even really talk about it. We don't have that. You got $25,000 a week? How about $25,000 a week to put into the algorithm to boost your channel on YouTube, folks? If you want to know what it was they wanted all that seed money from those rich white men down there for the Daily Wire, that's what it was for. That's what it was for. YouTube, Facebook, Ben Shapiro is hedged around the issue, but the truth is, folks, no, They're not paying hundreds of dollars a day. They're paying thousands of dollars a day, thousands and tens of thousands a week. I need y'all to understand that. Just to boost them in the algorithm. Just to boost them on the channels. And for a little while, life was good. For a little while, life was good. See, we don't have some multimillionaire Negroes to sit up here and throw us $1 million simply to boost us in the algorithm, to promote us, to independently advertise us. I mean, folks, like when we do a crowdfunding, we might get a couple of $100,000. These people here spend that kind of money every year just to boost their YouTube channel, just to boost their Facebook page, just to boost their Twitter page. They spend that kind of money just for that. They got big white money behind them to make sure they're papered up for this. And got you thinking there's something organic about it. Hell no, it's paid for just like everything else. And now the audience, they can't hide it anymore. The audience is backing away. It's like, I ain't really trying to do that. Not really trying to do it. And so now the money's starting to dry up. They've lost their big name people. And even those folk can't really pull numbers like they used to. Don't mistake the election of Donald Trump as an endorsement of the Daily Wire and the white supremacist foundation it stands on. That's one of the crazy overreaches that these people are going to make. Megyn Kelly, like so many other people, it was said very well this week, Donald Trump isn't a conservative, he's a populist. Now, he may say some things a lot of conservatives agree with, but the bottom line is his appeal to people is populist, not conservative. So the white supremacist conservatives are like, okay, we can make a few moves under him. And in reality, and now that he's there, you don't have the support you think you do. Or at least you don't have the support that you hoped it meant. So please understand that in this day and era right now, when things are starting to lighten up for some folks and things are running thin, the real thing starts to come out. You didn't used to have a black media apparatus that could push back in any way against this kind of white supremacist hate mongering. You didn't have anything. They certainly were not articulate or capable. You ended up with folks like the watering hole. What? You ended up with that. A bunch of mumble-mouthed LGBT activists who can't string together a coherent sentence and certainly cannot competently refute these things up here in a clear, concise, cogent manner. So we didn't have that. Roland Martin can't do it. I didn't say he won't do it. I said he can't do it. Never mind the fact that he can't get them big fat ham hock legs into a pair of pants to be able to do so. First of all, he had his lips wrapped around Megyn Kelly's ass. But second of all, he's looking to go work for the corporations that these white folk work for. He's looking to work for them. He's looking to get on with the Democrats. He's looking for a sponsor. I'm not looking for a sponsor. I got mine. I roll with the grassroots. I would rather have the real genuine numbers that I have right here and be connected to the soil than to be kissing everybody's damn ass, have 1 million subscribers, 999,000 of them worthless, and sitting up here kissing the Democrats' ass or whatever white corporation I think I can get on with, and abandoning the black agenda whatsoever. This is all very clear. And understand another thing, Roland Martin can't talk. That's the other issue. He can't talk because they got his number. Roland Martin, remember, he tried to buck up on Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper pulled his nigga card quick, didn't he? Roland Martin tried to buck up on Jake Tapper. your good white liberals, and Jake Tapper pulled the Fox News on him and yanked out Roland's big fat whole card real quick and said, what about you giving questions to Donna Brazil, getting questions from Donna Brazil? Your journalistic integrity, Roland, when you were getting questions for the debate from Donna Brazil? And Roland backed out. Boy, Roland immediately backed down. Now that it's been revealed that he was getting direct money from Kamala Harris's campaign, he can't say nothing to these people. They let you know that they are watching what happens. You think they don't care what happens on the Chitlin circuit. They got all the damn notes. If Roland ever raises his forked tongue to speak out against them, they already can shut him down with just a sentence and ain't nothing he can say. They're going to say Donna Brazil, Kamala Harris campaign, and at that point, Roland Martin is tucking his little piggly wiggly tail between his big fat legs and waddling home. So they are cool with him being around because he ain't got no power and he can't do anything. And if he ever bucks up on them, they know exactly how to shut him down, and they know he has no black support. Over here on our side, it's different. I ain't looking for a job with these people. I'm not looking for a partnership. I don't give a damn about a cocktail circuit. We run up on politicians with the business, and I have never been accused of backing down on a damn thing, and it ain't gonna change. This is what happens when I'm cool among the soldiers. I'm cool down here in the trenches. I'm cool with my people. I'm cool in the soil. I ain't looking for a promotion or elevation nowhere else. If I get too far away from the people, it's all gone downhill anyway. I'm good right where I am. They ain't got nothing to offer me. They can't buy me off because they ain't got nothing I want, and they've got nothing to offer me. Well, Jason, we'll give you a big studio, we'll give you a big house, and then we'll take care of all this over here. Roland Martin, he would just be sitting there squiggling like a pig. Oh, that's good. I can finally move out of this VW bud. My ship done coming in. When they come over here, they understand it ain't going to be none of that. None of that. So the conversation hits radically different, and you get the news, information, analysis here that you'll receive absolutely nowhere else. So this worries them. Presidential campaigns are worried about what we say over here. I showed you all last night, Kamala Harris's campaign, her friends and allies were throwing tens of millions at these phony-ass YouTubers and TikTokers with 1 million subscribers who couldn't move the needle a micron. They couldn't move the needle 1 micrometer. Couldn't make it budge. But they were talking about the new black media and the black channel and how we're going to refute, cut the check, and voting for the couch. What we going to do about that? Because that's got traction. And we can prove it's got traction because none other than Van Jones, fresh off that $100 million from Jeff Bezos, sat there and said the Democrats didn't lose to Donald Trump. The Democrats lost to the couch.
And deal with it, nigga.
That ain't Jason Black saying it. That's Van Jones saying it on CNN. We don't have to have 1 million people move. You're going to lose this election by 50, 60,000 votes. We can make that happen. So just understand what you're seeing right now. Just understand what you're seeing. Now, I am not sure what the events are. I'm not vouching for anything one way or the other, but what I am not going to do is allow people to sit up here, transform this into a racial issue when that is not the case. No one has presented a scintilla of information to show it's not the case. That is the case. Well, what's the difference with this, with Rittenhouse and Zimmerman? First of all, they didn't arrest any of those people. Now, that's the first thing. Daniel Penny was walking the streets for days. a couple of weeks before he was arrested. Finally arrested. George Zimmerman, same thing. Kyle Rittenhouse, same thing. They were walking the streets. It took public outcry to get them arrested. Carmelo Anthony says he was engaging in self-defense, and the police said, little nigga, get in this car. We don't want to hit none of that garbage. So the system went straight to work in a way in which it never does when a black person is killed by a white assailant. That's the difference. There's no need for a public outcry because the accused has already been arrested. That's the reason Megan the Bigot Kelly, the reason that there's no outcry is because they've already arrested him. He's being held on $1 million bond. $1 million. When there's a very credible case of self-defense argument and they're holding him for $1 million. Now, that's not the Kyle Rittenhouse, Daniel Penny, George Zimmerman, Derek Chauvin treatment. You had to argue and stomp and hit the streets and every damn thing else to get them arrested. Justin Metcalf's whiteness got Anthony Carmelo arrested with no regard for self-defense or the facts. None. Not a scintilla of it. Not one scintilla. That's not accidental when that kind of thing occurs. That's what we've been saying the whole time. That's not accidental. When you see things like that happening over and over again, no, it should be just as easy to get them arrested. Shouldn't it be? We don't ever get that treatment. Now, I want to show you all one more thing, just in case you thought I was done here. I almost missed this. I don't want to leave this untouched on. Let me go back here to the ABC News article. I'm checking over my notes. There was one more thing I wanted to show you all here. Now, remember, Megan the Bigot Kelly, Megan Ku Klux Kelly, once again, this is information that was out there. So why is it that she refused to say this and tried to characterize this as somebody was sitting in a seat and then all they did was say, hey, get out of my seat, and then they got killed? Here's what they go on into the ABC News article to say here. Now, it says here that, I want to start up here. It says, according to the witness reported that Anthony allegedly reached inside his bag and said, touch me and see what happens, according to the police report. According to a witness, Metcalf, this is Justin Metcalf, that he grabbed Anthony, this is Anthony, Metcalf grabbed Anthony to move him. I think we call that assault, right? And Anthony allegedly pulled out what the witness described as a black knife and stabbed Justin once in the chest and then ran away, the arrest report stated. An officer recovered a bloody knife in the bleachers, according to the report. Now, this next part, his twin brother, Hunter Metcalf, was also at the meet and spoke to officers at the scene. He said that after his brother told Anthony he had to leave the tent because he didn't go to memorial, the two, quote, went back and forth, and then Austin stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent, according to the arrest report. Quote, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab, Hunter Metcalf told Dallas ABC affiliate WFAA. Quote, it was really senseless. I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. excuse me, son, you just sat here and said that your brother, Austin, grabbed Anthony and pushed Anthony. He grabbed him, he threatened him, he pushed him. After he said, don't put your hands on me. So obviously he kept threatening to do it. That's not an argument. According to Kyle Rittenhouse and the white supremacists like Megyn Kelly, she was defending Kyle Rittenhouse for gunning down 3 people for the exact same thing. Now, all of a sudden, she doesn't argue, all you people who criticize Kyle Rittenhouse, just understand the same thing just happened in Frisco, Texas. So if you do that kind of thing, this is what happens. While she's saying now that was wrong. Now she's saying that was wrong. And I wanted to show you that his brother says, this isn't from other witnesses. It says his twin brother Hunter said that he told Anthony to leave the tent. Why didn't he go get an adult? Already touched on that. He's going to deal with it himself. The two went back and forth, and then he doesn't just talk to Anthony. He's going to get up and grab him and try to force him out. That's not an argument. What is your brother doing, taking it upon himself that he's going to grab people after they said, hey, dude, I'm not the one. Don't do that. Why didn't he go get an adult? This isn't an argument. He assaulted him. Better question. Why is it that Megyn the Bigot Kelly didn't say a word about all the things you just heard me say? It was right there on ABC News' website. It was right there. Now, let me be clear about my next statement here. I am not arguing that Austin should have died. I'm not arguing that that's what you get. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying if we're going to discuss the event that happened, tragic as it is, then we need to be honest about what occurred. Jordan Neely was unarmed on that subway train. He was unarmed and he didn't touch any passengers on that subway train in New York. He touched no one. The most you can accuse him of is talking in a threatening manner, but that is it. And if it is okay to strangle Jordan Neely to death simply because he was talking in a threatening manner, then how is it that Megyn Ku Klux Kelly is jumping up and saying, oh, wait a minute now, we got to stand up for this person because they're white and they did a lot more than threaten someone. Jordan Neely didn't put his hands on anybody. And Megyn Kelly defended his murder, and she defends it to this day. Well, under these circumstances, she's blaming the victim and immediately saying, well, it's a white person, so that's why I'm blaming them. So, Megyn, what you really need to do is, when you talk to the New York Times recently about your biases, you need to also tell them about your white supremacist biases. You need to talk about that too and say, look, I'm a white supremacist. I believe in white supremacy, and, we should be running this thing, and anything that threatens that, that's just not good. This all belongs to us. That would be a whole lot more honest to do that. You'd have more credibility. You'd have more credibility if you did that. You really, really would. You really would. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and put up
Coffee.